let's go on ahead and go for a double burner. And this one's hitting right off the bat. I ran into someone the other day that they want to make fun of God because something bad happened in their lives. You cannot base an ultimate belief in the ultimate Lord by going by your past. You have to look forward to the future with Him. But because something so bad happened, you know what? I could have whined around like that. My mom died in 1981. I was 10 years old. And I tried this, y'all. I tried to live like that. I even told God I went in the back of my Aunt Betty's house in High Ridge, Missouri. And I shook my fist to heaven and I told God I hated Him. And you know what? He forgave me 22 years later after I started drinking and started doing drugs. Started when I was 14, didn't quit till I was 36. Added up 22 years of a wasted life. And I told Him that I'm tired of living the way that I'm living. I want to make my girlfriend my wife. I want to have a consistent job. And more importantly than all that, Lord, help me to be a good dad. Give me something to do. Just give me something to do. And that next thing I know, I'm carrying a cross in Anadarko years later on down the road. I was a deacon at Ouachita while our church lasted, and I always have something to do. I'm never bored. Never. With all that being said, let's dive right into it. Disciples of the mind, bitterness. See to it that no one misses the grace of God and that no bitter root grows up to cause trouble and to defile many. Hebrews 12:15, we have a quote from Charles Swindoll. There is no torment like the inner torment of an unforgiving spirit. How true that is. In word, you can't believe how you've been treated. Somewhere in your past, someone has done you wrong. You've been betrayed, lied about, cheated, or deceived, and it just eats at you, doesn't it? The fact that when there are people less worthy than you who seem to be enjoying life more, earning more, and playing more drives you crazy. It just isn't right when the wicked prosper, especially when you don't. Everyone has been there. Our offendedness can run awfully deep, and sometimes, usually, in fact, it is quite legitimate. It isn't just a matter of perception. People do step on our toes and treat us badly. Sometimes it's intentional. Sometimes it's just carelessness. Either way, many people lack integrity, and their lack affects us. We live in a world in which arrogance, meanness, deception, and pettiness abound. We can hardly avoid such things. Are we wrong to be offended? No. But we are wrong to hold on to that offense. It is pointless, even harmful, to wallow in our heart and count all the ways things could be better. Otherwise, it doesn't harm the person who angered us, it only harms us and the people around us who have to live with our bitterness. We cultivate a destructive cancerous disease when we lament how we have been wronged. We ignore the grace of God for ourselves and for others when we dwell there. God never calls us to that place of lament. Indeed, the conclusion. Imagine winning a $1 billion lottery and then getting all steamed up about a 10% shortchange at the convenience store. That's a monetary image of our spiritual outrage. God has given us all things and promised us all things. He has pledged Himself with His bounty as our never-ending supply. He has guaranteed that we will never lack anything we truly need. Why then do we obsess about the things we have faced? God can make up the difference, and He can deal with the offenders in His time. Is there any grievance worth harboring in that arrangement? Don't be stuck in bitterness, y'all. After Annie crossed the stars December 23rd, I was crazy that day. I had such a big hole in my heart, as well as the girls. All we did was just cry and cry and cry and cry. And I went to Salt Cellar. I finally got that ring that I promised Annie that I would put on her when we married this November 17, 2010. I didn't get a ring. I didn't have the money for it. I always thought you had to have big fancy money and go to Zales and spend at least $800 to $1,000. And I kind of priced them, but I was thinking about new stuff. She would have been happy with the $30 ring, but I promised her, and she kind of held that against me. And it was real hard for me. We picked out a ring, and it was the one about the virtuous and capable woman, which is in Proverbs 31. Had a beautiful scripture on it, and it meant a lot. We were going crazy. Then I ended up going to Anadarko, and I seen my Auntie Judith Hunter. And my Auntie Judith, we walked outside. She knows what it's like to be a widow. I didn't know that. She was in her 30s when she lost her first husband. And she says it's hard, but you gotta let go of the luggage, Jackie. You gotta let go of it, son. That's what she told me. Son. She called me son. And I meant an even deeper understanding of love. So, with all that, it's almost coming up on a year, and I've let go of bitterness. I've even prayed for enemies. I prayed for some people that should have participated more in her funeral that I was mad at. Even some of our pallbearers. They sat out in their car instead of coming in and doing what they were supposed to. I yanked my niece's hair because it was supposed to be cut like the rest of us. She just cut off some. I just looked at her, but I had to let it go. That's me. I cut it all off. I didn't care. That's my hey, how wonder now. That's my magpie feather woman. But she was the Lord's before she was mine, so she went home. And that's what gives me peace that surpasses all understanding. It gives me joy, and that's what helps me let go of the bitterness. Be blessed your own journey.